GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude,
he? How good is he?
With the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.
Let's go. Run that shit up. Call your mama, call your daddy.
Brock Bowers sounds like a porn name.
Oh my.
I'm gonna ask JRich this.
When I laid down for that Guyton pick, I was down there. I was like, if I don't get up, I might not get up.
Look at him. He can't even contain himself.
I did see the comment, JRich, too much horn, but I don't think there's ever too much
horn. And Ray, people want your volume
Let's
up.
go.
They want your gain up a little bit.
It came from Jordan.
It came from Jordan.
Ladarius
Keenan
McConkey.
Yes.
Let's go! Get it, baby. Let's get it, baby. GMGP. It is Friday, April 25th. Why are you on the screen, man? Why are you on the screen, JRich? Yeah, we got to intro you the right way. Damn. Hold on. There we go. It is Friday, April 25th, 2025. Outside of Wake Y'all Asses Up with me and my brother from another mother, Jordan Rich. You can find him at your boy, JRich. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay, live a mere 5 hours after the DDFFB Fantasy Football post-draft stream. It is NFL Draft Week, baby. And we got the people in the building. What we got? Tyler Claire. Ray is on a safari. It's all messed up. The JRich, man. Come on, dude. You gotta have this right for me, JRich. Have the comments right. What's up, Tyler Claire in the building? I'm in the building. Mitch is in the building. Joe's in the building. Marlon. DP. Man, listen. I told my dog DP, I was like, hey, jump on round one of the draft. DP texted me at 7:40. I didn't have my phone the whole draft. I was locked in to the people. I was locked into y'all, and now Mr. Big Time himself is on his way to New York to cover the draft with Bleacher Report. Shout out my dog DP. Safe travels, brother. Appreciate everybody that was in the building last night. JRich, how many people we have in the stream last night, man? How many people we had in the stream, JRich? 20,000. Appreciate y'all, man. 20,000 people across all platforms came and hung out with us last night to experience, to talk about, to discuss round one of the 2025 NFL Draft. And I mean it, man. I cannot thank y'all enough. We got 2 winners, JRich. Brandon already got us the winners. Subscriptions to our Discord channel. We will announce those later tonight. But just excited. We're going to do it again tonight at 5:45 Eastern Time, right here on the channel. Rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL Draft. And I honestly believe this is going to be, like, tonight's going to be the night. Tonight, it's the fireworks. It's the running back landing spots. We've got a couple of quarterbacks we're interested in. There's a ton of great defensive players still available on the board. We are going to have some fun tonight. So shout out to everybody that was on last night. Mitch, Dan, JRich, Scott, Shane, vibing with us until well past 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to just say this. If you're pulling up here, if you're on this channel, if you support what we're doing, if you're tapping into the free content we're putting down, like, go subscribe. Don't do that. Go subscribe and show that support, show that love. That way we don't push no product down your throat. Just subscribe, right? Show some love, show some support. JRich, how you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It was, long night, early morning, but ready and back to do it again. Wake up 9 a.m. after the round one streams are always tough, but Glad to see people are here, Ray. We got 270 on YouTube. You know, I was hoping for some better numbers, but they're waking up slowly. They'll be with us in a minute.
Bad.
But that's
it
why
was
we do
rough.
a little longer intros. It was good, though. It's good.
I'll take 270 because there was a chance that I wasn't going to be here at all. So we made it happen. We're in the building, and we'll have a big day tonight. But let's not play around, dude. NFL draft. Night one is over. It's in the books. Round one is in the books. Not a lot of intrigue with the first pick, but things got spicy right off the bat with the second pick. You know, you look through this, and we do mock drafts for how long? How many months we do mock drafts? Mock, and
5
expert
months,
this
like.
and that. All I know, my big takeaway is all the noise the last probably week of the draft was just straight that. Just noise, man. Just, you know, McShay hearing this and no chance Dart falls past the Saints. Kelvin Banks is going to be the first tackle off the board. Genty to the Jet. None of that shit happened. None of it happened. Ashton Genty went exactly where he's been going since January to the Raiders, right? He went exactly where he was going to go. Mason Graham went 5th overall, exactly where he was going. Different team, but exactly where he was going. Mimbu thing, no Tyler Warren, Colston Love. Your overall thoughts on night one of the draft, man, before we get into each pick and kind of go through it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give the draft a solid, I'd give it a B+. I'd give it a B+.
Okay.
Because I don't think it was too crazy, but it was a good draft. I thought that, like you kind of mentioned, it was funny how last week there was little to any news as to updates as to who's picking what, where teams could be leaning. And then it was, I think it was either late Monday or early Tuesday, a flurry of absolute smoke across the entire NFL landscape for 3 straight days leading all the way into last night. And it was basically the exact same mock drafts that everyone had pegged, at least in the top 7, on Monday morning, late Saturday, Sunday. And I thought that was crazy. But yeah, it was a fun ride to watch all the different stories be told as to Membu and Banks and Genty getting traded up and all these various things happening. So that to me was really fun to see it all play out. That has just ended up all being not true at all in the end. We all kind of thought this crazy top of the first round would be, and it was very much what we had seen for the past couple of weeks overall.
Yeah, wasn't a lot of crazy stuff, but we've got a second round mock from Matt Miller that we'll take a look at in the second half of the show. But let's just dive right into this thing and start talking about these picks, how we feel about the fits. We got the people in the building, a lot to get through this morning. So let's pull it up right now. We're on ESPN, round 1, first pick overall, Cam Ward. We knew it was going to be to the Tennessee Titans. Nothing really to discuss there, but now that it's happened, you know, we'll see what they continue to build around him. They've got a high pick in the second round. We'll see what Tennessee continues to do to build around Cam Ward, because that AFC South is it's gotten interesting over the past. It's getting a little better, right? And it really started at pick 2, where the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns traded. They made a trade, and the Browns traded back to the 5th pick. Jacksonville jumped up here to number 2, and they select Travis Hunter. The Jags were in natural contention to have the number 2 overall pick, I believe, until the last couple of weeks of the 24 NFL season. But it had been etched in stone, JRich. I mean, we were speaking in absolutes on here that it's a lock that Travis Hunter is going to be a Brown. And I, for one, am very excited about this landing spot. I think it's a much better landing spot than Cleveland. We can talk about the ancillary pieces who also get a boost here. You know, we had listened to Andrew Berry talk about how he viewed him as a wide receiver first. When Travis Hunter's name was announced, granted it was Solomon Thomas, it was a damn player making the pick. He was announced as a wide receiver first, not defensive back. Jacksonville said they're going to use him on both sides of the ball. I think this is a really good landing spot for Hunter. What are your thoughts about him in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I mean, just the trade itself, right? Browns traded 2, a 4th, and a 6th for the 5th pick, their second round pick, a 4th round pick, and then obviously the big pick, the 26th first that Jacksonville gave up to go up from 5 all the way to 2 to get Travis Hunter. But I think the interesting thing, Ray, is that all the talk, as you mentioned, was about the Browns and how they view him as a receiver. Now he's not playing for the Browns. He's playing for the Jaguars. So they're going to use him on both ways. But you know, for as long as we talked about Hunter, we always said the number one landing spot for him, if he wants to play both ways, is probably the Jaguars, because they don't have anything. Like, they have Brian Thomas, but outside of that, they don't have any receivers. At corner, they're very, very thin at corner. So he can kind of do a bit of everything there. But now the biggest question everyone wants to know is, well, how much receiver is he going to play? Because we felt like we had that answer with Cleveland saying that he's going to be a primary receiver. I mean, if Liam Cohen's saying he's primary offense,
that's what AJ in the chat says, man.
That's what we're hoping for, right? But it is a bit of a switch, because now, for a lot of people who were banking on him being a receiver because that's what we've been told by the Browns, we haven't necessarily got that full confirmation quite yet, I'd say, but hopefully in the coming days we get that. But I think the potential for him to play corner more often makes a lot more sense for Jacksonville than it ever did for Cleveland, because Cleveland has strong
Let me tell
corners.
I'm just going to say this. I'm listening to the pre-draft show, and it was the College Game Day crew, and they had Nick Saban on and Kirk Herbstreit, and they were talking about Travis Hunter. Joey Galloway was legit just hating on him. Not a good route runner, not a polished wide receiver. And then they asked Nick Saban, where would you play him? What do you think he should do? And Nick Saban, his own words were, players that can score touchdowns on offense are more valuable than any defensive player that you can have. That's what he said. I'm not here to debate a random touchdown player versus Nick Bosa, but he was like, offense is where it's at. AJ said, Cohen said he's going to be a primary guy on offense. If we just think about what Liam Cohen was able to do in Tampa Bay, you put Travis Hunter in either role, whether that's the Mike Evans role, the Jalen McMillan role, the Chris Godwin role. You don't trade up to number 2 overall. You don't trade a future first-round pick for a corner, right? He's going to play receiver. He's going to play wide receiver. I've been saying this the entire season. It has nothing to do with the draft, nothing to do with last night. If y'all have been on this channel, how many times have I said I believe he's a better wide receiver than cornerback? He's going to play receiver. And you're talking about an offense with what we believe is going to be a creative OC. This is a better quarterback than whatever Cleveland was going to roll out, including Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart as rookie quarterbacks, on a team that lost their pass catchers in Christian Kirk. All they've got is Parker Washington behind Brian Thomas Jr. I think this is a very good spot for Travis Hunter. I'm excited about the landing spot, and I would draft him very high. I was working on my pre-draft rankings from the post-draft rankings from the pre-draft scores. I don't know what I'm going to do, and we'll talk through some of these other picks, but let's keep it going because we're not done talking about Travis Hunter. Abdul Carter goes to the Giants at 3. Good pick by the Giants. They went with the edge rusher, Abdul Carter. Looks like he's ready to go. The New England Patriots at pick 4, Will Campbell. Pretty chalk, JRich, but best O-lineman in the class. Protect Drake May. This has got to be good for New England moving forward overall. Now, here's the 5th pick. I went to bed thinking about this one. Mason Graham, DT, goes 5th overall to the Cleveland Browns in the trade down. I would have liked to see him shop this pick again, but Mason Graham, most people's D-tackle 1 off of the board at 5 to Cleveland, and I do think that from a defensive standpoint, this should help Myles Garrett out. You've got somebody that's disruptive in the middle. You could play right alongside Myles Garrett. That's just hell to deal with, right? You've got good secondary players. I believe the Browns defense will have a nice bounce back. This was a good pick, and they've got a lot of capital. At 6, the player that everybody said the team was not ready for, yet this was a common fit up until, again, the news and the noise about Jacksonville. Ashton Jeanty goes to the Raiders at 6. He's going to be good. He's going to get plenty of opportunity. Hit rate on first-round running backs super high, and the Raiders were one of the worst rushing offenses in the NFL. Jeanty's coming in. There's no splitting work. I mean, I'm anticipating him getting Saquon Barkley level treatment right out the gate as a rookie. Love what the Jets did to protect Justin Fields. Armand Membu, the tackle out of Missouri that took Olu Fashanu last year in round 1. They lost Tyron Smith, so now you've got your right tackle and your left tackle of the future. Still need to upgrade some weapons for Fields, but this was a good football move, building around the trenches for your young quarterback, giving him opportunity to succeed. And then I guess, again, the first shocker of the night outside of the trade was a player in a team that had been the pairing in the match from January to March, after the combine, after the pro day. Everybody in the world stopped mocking Ted McMillan inside the top 10. The ceiling was 12 at Dallas, maybe 20 at Denver, 22 to the Chargers, hell, 27 to the Baltimore Ravens. But looky, Carolina said no Jalen Walker, no Mykel Williams. We're taking Ted McMillan, the wide receiver 1 in this class, to be a primary passing option and weapon for Bryce Young. Your thoughts right here, because I do believe, Jay, this was the first, and I'm using air quotes when I say shocker, because this had been the player pick and team fit for like 2 months until we got to the combine. It doesn't really love the game. It doesn't run that fast, yada, yada, yada. The first damn receiver off the board, top 10 capital. This is the same spot that Drake London was drafted in 2022, 8th overall. This is higher than Olave, higher than Garrett Wilson. I mean, he got drafted higher than damn Devontae Smith did in 2021. So you're talking about the 8th overall pick, Ted McMillan, the wide receiver 1 going to Carolina. Your thoughts?
I don't know, Ray. I guess I'm just a hater on this pick. I just don't love it. Like, I just don't. I don't know if it's that great for Bryce. Like, I just think it's going to be overhyped at the end of the day. Like, it's a great fit for McMillan. Drafted very high. Profile was good. It's good for Bryce, obviously. I just don't think it's going to be this massive ceiling that people are hoping for in Carolina. Like, I understand why people say, oh, yeah, Bryce needs more weapons and needs more playmakers, and he definitely does. But, like, this team still needs a defense, too, right? And that's where, when people talked about this Carolina team, it was D-line, 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 because they were historically bad for the first half of the season. And while I totally understand you want to, help Bryce Young out, and Tet is a great prospect, and he can make that offense better, like, from a team perspective, this probably does nothing for the team overall. They're still going to run the ball effectively like they have for the past, 8 weeks of the season when they started to get going. Bryce was better. They had playmakers that were doing enough offensively, but the defense was still struggling. So now you're in a situation where they have no second-round pick. The only pick they have, Ray, to this point, is Ted McMillan till the 3rd round. And so there's a lot of playmakers, defensive linemen, edge rushers, DTs that could have been available to help them bolster this defense. I would like them to trade down, honestly, based off how the draft ended up. Maybe they felt like they were in a spot to take Ted, and that's fine. But I just think this pick's going to be overhyped a little bit for what it's going to do for this team. And it's kind of like taking a luxury pick without the luxury assets to kind of make it that, right? That's where I kind of stand on Ted. But how do you feel about him and his fit in this offense? Because right now he's going to be the presumed number 1, 8th overall. Number 1 for Bryce Young, Dave Canales, what do you want to say, Mike Evans' role, Chris Godwin, whatever Canales does with his offense. What do you think his ceiling can be on this team and with Bryce Young?
I don't know what his ceiling will be. I don't want to speak to that. I don't like doing that shit. I don't know what his ceiling can be, but I do know that there's plenty of opportunity to go around in Carolina. I do know that when you look at the usage of, let's just say, the Carolina Panthers wide receiving core, the Green Bay Packers wide receiving core, like this, what Bryce Young was able to do weeks 10 through 17 to put his receivers in position to score points. Go look at the Trinity and you tell me which offense you would rather have your wide receiver be a part of. Based on what they did last season, there is opportunity abundant for Ted McMillan. And DP in the chat said this is a make or break year for Bryce Young. This is year 3. Sure. They need to know they're putting all their eggs in this basket. And here we are talking about a wide receiver who goes 8th overall and we don't know how to feel about it. There's opportunity plentiful. You've got a quarterback that did make strides moving forward last year. I think this is great for Ted McMillan. And I'm really struggling with which player that I would rank higher. I'm very much struggling with it because it's the dichotomy of the opportunity with Carolina and some promise that we saw from Bryce Young versus this unknown offensive situation in Jacksonville with a better quarterback at this point in his career and in an offense that we feel like should be a lot better. Travis Hunter was the 2nd overall pick at wide receiver. Calvin Johnson, that's higher than Jamar Chase. I mean, he's the highest drafted wide receiver since Calvin Johnson. I know Brian Thomas is there, but I saw, and I'm not comparing these two yet, but I saw what Liam Cohen was able to do with not 1, not 2, but 3 wide receivers on that team. I'm having a real tough time ranking Ted above Travis Hunter. But here we go, man. This is it. This is a really good spot. This does do something for Bryce Young. It does help move the offense forward, and it's a good landing spot for Ted McMillan. I'm still very much struggling with him versus Hunter right now. Still very much struggling.
So what is it that you struggle with? Because for me, it's not that difficult. I think in just about every circumstance, you prefer Hunter. You prefer his quarterback. You prefer his play caller. You prefer the offense as a whole and the projected volume because Carolina's probably still going to run the ball a lot. Is it just the fact that Hunter isn't a wide receiver through and through? And if he was, maybe you'd feel a little bit better about it versus Tet, who we know is a early producer, great producer.
There's nothing like this. This whole thing with him not being a wide receiver through and through, you can miss me with that because I've said the whole time he's going to play receiver. So that it has nothing to do with that. It's the simple fact that I can project Ted McMillan being the number one option on Carolina. And as good as Travis Hunter is, I do not think today I could predict and project him to be the. Now, let me say something wild that people don't want to talk about, that nobody. Is there a world where Travis Hunter is the primary and Brian Thomas evolves into the secondary option? Is that a possibility? BTJ was inherited. He was great last year, but he was not Liam Cohen's pick. They traded all this damn capital for Hunter, who's going to play on the offensive side of the ball. Is there a world where you look up and you're like, man, I mean, this is a lot closer than I thought.
It's Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, right? Like two guys that we view as players that can both be wide receiver ones, right? Like that's the truth, is that you're in a situation now where we've seen it with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. We've seen it with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like there's not a lot of situations where it happens, but there has been certain times, and Jacksonville could be the right spot where there's enough volume for two wide receivers to really thrive. And I think especially the way it pans out right now, Ray, like, is there a world where both guys see 150 targets because there's literally nobody else there? Like if it's just those
that's what I'm
guys,
saying. You see that there's too much fantasy fucking talk right here. Like, BTJ was too good. That's why they spent. Not only did they pick him number 2, they traded a future first-round pick for him. Like
that's
drafting
Jamar Chase after hitting on T. Higgins.
I'm not saying this is. And first of all, half of y'all motherfuckers didn't even like BTJ. It was me and you pumping him up to the high heavens all off season, right? But let's talk dollars and cents. Let's talk. They spent the number 2 overall pick on. So you're telling me, oh man, we'll trade a future first and give the second overall pick for the second or third option on offense.
Yep. That's where the ceiling debate is tough because that's a big investment. He's going to get a chance.
The problem. I'm not saying Brian Thomas isn't good. I'm not saying he's not going to lead it. All I'm asking is there a world where Liam Cohen's like, that's who we want to build the offense around? I want Kim to be the Godwin, and I want Brian Thomas to be the downfield. You don't know, I don't know, and nobody in this goddamn chat knows for sure what Liam Cohen is going to do. I'm just throwing the scenarios out there. Again, you trade up to get him, and then he's just going to be a little piece on the offense.
You don't do that without a plan, right?
Yeah, I don't know,
Think about all the teams that trade up for receivers, like the Saints trade up for Chris Olave. What do you know? He's their wide receiver 1, right? Like trading up from 5 to 2 to go and get Travis Hunter, future first-round pick, second-round pick. Like there is a clear plan for this guy. Liam Cohen apparently says he's going to be an offensive player first. That's awesome. We want to see that happen. Like Brian Thomas can still be great, and I think that, but that's where for me the answer is.
And I get it,
Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's the better receiver.
But Joe, I'm not gonna let y'all off the hook like that. She said us fantasy players know there's typically 2 major That's not what. Yes, we know that, but there's always a priority, right? There's still a priority in every 2 pass catching offense of which one you'd rather have. It's all. That's just the game, and that's what we play, and that's what we talk about, right? Let's move on. Yep. New Orleans at number 9 takes Kelvin Banks. They do not go with the smoke and the rumor. What was the rumor? No way, Jackson Dart. No chance he falls past New Orleans. Anytime you see a report that starts like that from this point forward, just delete it. No chance this player falls.
No chance.
Not a chance, right? Well, it did. The chance chanced, and he did not go at 9. Neither did Shedeur Sanders. The Saints take Kelvin Banks to protect Spencer Rattler, who's going to be their starting quarterback in 2025. Oh, yeah. Spencer Rattler season.
Well, we'll see, right? Round 2.
Another shocker JRich. The first tight end off of the board was not Tyler Warren, no matter what. It was Colston Loveland, the pass catcher out of Michigan, who lands in a exciting offense, a crowded offense, but an offense that's going to be led by a player, by a coach that we think could be very creative and fruitful for us. Talk about the Bears getting Colston Loveland at 10.
Yeah, I mean, there was reports that Colston Loveland was the preferred tight end of him and Tyler Warren, at least in the Bears front office. And so this wasn't a complete shocker for me reading some of those reports. But yeah, people are going to wonder, like, well, what happens now? Because you have DJ Moore and Roma Dunze and whoever else can be playing wide receiver in the pecking order. The running back's going to be heavily involved. You're kind of hoping he gets that Sam Laporta treatment. You know, we talked about it. Sam Laporta, I believe it was 17 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons in the NFL at tight end. Which, if Colston Loveland can do that, he'll be somewhat relevant. But without that, I don't know. That's the big question, right? We'll get to Tyler Warren in a second. And if you want to scroll down to him, he went to Indy. There's not a ton of picks in between here. But I think the question people are going to... What?
Oh, there's not a ton of picks in between here. We got Loveland, Michael, went to San Francisco. That's a good pick. It's a good pick by the Niners.
That's a great pick. Yeah,
it's a great pick.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah, Ray, come on. Welcome to the club. Offensive guard in the first round club. Let's go.
Dallas takes Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama. There was a lot of smoke towards the end listen, before the draft, I tweeted out, I was like, man, I know everybody's hoping for Dallas to do this and that, but this just feels like one of them years where they're not going to take a running back early. The smoke about them needing O-line. They lost Zach Martin. They lost Tyron Smith. And all the rumors and reports are the first-round tackle they got last year. They don't feel very great about Tyler Guyton. They might even push Trey Smith out to left tackle, which a lot of people don't. Tyler Smith out to left tackle, which a lot of people don't want to do. You got Tyler Smith, Tyler Guyton, and now Tyler Booker up front. The 3 T's up front for Dallas. I'm just going to say it right now. I bet you that the Dallas Cowboys front office feels like with a healthy Dak Prescott, they are good enough at running back. That Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, Deuce Vaughn, it's good enough that they don't have to spend significant capital on the back. I'm not getting my hopes up for Dallas to draft a running back in night 2. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not getting my hopes up, Jay. They're probably good enough in Dallas's eyes with a healthy Dak Prescott. Kenneth Grant came off of the board to Miami at 13. Another
Awful
one.
Pick.
Yeah. You didn't like this pick?
This is probably the biggest shocker of the draft. For a team, again, not a bad player, but drafted ahead of Walter Nolan, right, which we didn't expect. Drafted ahead of Jalen Walker, which if you're going edge rusher, they did take Chop Robinson last year, who came on in the second half. But, like, when you have a glaring need at safety and a glaring need at corner, knowing that Jalen Ramsey's on the way out, very surprising. But again, with the way that corner fell in this draft, maybe they can still get one in the second round and be okay. But it felt like a bit of a reach for Grant at 13. Maybe they couldn't trade down. Maybe this just wasn't available to them, but definitely was surprised.
I said you guys need to both acknowledge your tribal chief for the Tet Carolina pick.
I love that Ike is championing his pick of Tet McMillan to Carolina, right, but he is refusing to acknowledge his love for Shedeur Sanders and how disrespected and the smear campaign.
Yeah, you saw Ike's tweet. I saw Ike's tweet. The smear campaign worked.
Yeah, all about the smear campaign that he was trying to. I was like, what smear campaign? It's just the reality. I'm not gonna lie,
my heart did drop. So I'm listening to the Dallas pick, and then I hear with the 12th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler. I was like, oh shit, they took Tyler Warren, and then it's Booker, and I'm like, damn, man. But anyway. Tyler Warren went to a place that I think the very first mock draft I did, he went to the Indianapolis Colts, right? Number 44. They need an easy button option for Rich. I like it. I know a lot of people want to crap on Indianapolis, but I just took a look-see at the usage of their top 3 pass targets last year. Like for that offense, they were Pierce, Downs, and Pittman. Up to the far right of the Trinity, below the line, all the tight ends were awful. Like they had nobody. I just remember sitting on that stream this time last year, and I went back through the comments, and some of y'all in this chat, the receipts are out there. absolutely crapped on Brock Bowers. No chance he does any damn thing in 2024. They've got no quarterback. This is an awful landing spot for Brock Bowers. Sucks, stinks, not good. Hell, you and I even had a conversation. Does he even get close to Travis Kelce level of production for this season? And he smashed. So this is a play. It's not like him and Loveland went 20 picks apart. They were both top 15 tight ends. I'm not going to overthink it.
Do you want to bet on the situation, or do you want to bet on
I'm going to bet that
player,
Tyler Warren
right?
outlasts Anthony Richardson. I'm going to make that bet first and foremost. However long Rich is going to be in the starter's helm, Tyler Warren will outlast him. And he's a really good prospect that I believe that Shane Steichen will be able to get the ball to. I'm not going to auto fade him because I think I know exactly how this spot's going to play out in 25. I'm not going to do that. He went top 15. I would love to make a topo bet on who you even think has more targets in 2025, him or Loveland in Chicago. Do you want to? I know you were Loveland. Do you want to make just a friendly bet? Like I think he will out target him this season. Today that's how I feel, man. I'm not as nervous about it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you. I think it's close. I think I would look at it this way, right? You're betting on the Chicago offense with Loveland. And probably I'd say a not as wide range of outcomes. Warren, I think, has a wider range of outcomes, good and bad, right? Because you have the Richardson factor, you have a bit more wide open for targets. I think we kind of know Loveland's going to be okay. Maybe there's some ceiling with touchdowns there, but Warren, to your point, maybe has the highest potential ceiling in year one.
Why are people? Do you have selective hearing? Oh, don't compare him to Bowers. I'm not comparing him to Bowers. I legitimately, they're not comparable prospects. But even with that, and as good as Bowers was as a prospect, y'all asses still didn't like him. Oh, man, that situation stinks, right? I'm talking about our inability to truly judge those situations. He went 14th overall. What else? He's a top 15 pick, man. He's a top 15 pick. I'm not, you tell whoever the hell you want. All I'm saying is, I don't think that I'm just deading Tyler Warren because he lands in Indianapolis. If you want to have Colston Loveland ahead of him, I'm not going to argue you. Go ahead. He's an incredible tight end prospect. My tight end 2 in the class. In a good situation. In a more crowded situation, but should be a better one. But I'm not fading Tyler Warren because he goes to Indianapolis, man. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah,
Atlanta.
I think it's just a situation where you take the guy that gets the guy that's available second. You don't want to take the first one between the two. Just take the one that goes second in your draft, and you'll be fine.
I'll be fine, too. Yeah, Allen said these tight ends probably won't do much anyway. Loveland nor Warren, right? Well, and then we still got Mason Taylor and Arroyo and everybody else, hopefully, tonight. Atlanta, man, Jalen Walker, great.
One of the best picks of the draft.
Great.
Just landed right in their lap.
Arizona, Walter Nolan, great. Great pick. Great, two great picks.
Heartbroken.
Love them. Love them. Scott, Shamar Stewart, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I'm good with it in Cincinnati. Seattle takes Gray Zabel. Chalk pick. They go interior O-line. Good for Kenneth Walker. Good for Sam Darnold. Help protect your quarterback. Gray Zabel should step right in. Interior O-line is what Seattle needed. They went and did that. Another head-scratching moment, JRich. Tampa Bay takes Emeka Egbuka at 19. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go wide receiver at 19. I'm going to read why they picked him. Mike Evans will be 32 in August, is under contract for one more season. Chris Godwin coming off severe ankle injury. Egbuka at 19-20 from the slot since 2022, 7th most in college football. Look for him to contribute in the short passing game. Did you sleep on this? Think about it. Love it more, hate it more? What are your thoughts on Egbuka? I'll just say Baker Mayfield. How long have I been pumping him up? Like Baker to the freaking moon. He's been my guy. He's been my guy since like November. Baker Mayfield should just let it rip in 25.
Yeah, no, I feel kind of the same about it. I mean, Ibuka's a player I liked. I always thought he was a little bit underrated, especially from where people had him expected to go. Now, again, I didn't have him to the Bucs, obviously. I thought they'd go defense, but I've talked about this on this show, feels like every week. Like, I have no idea what the Bucs are going to do. Like, they didn't have a clear pick, and they went full luxury, right? We thought it could be Jahad Campbell, which would have been a luxury pick given where he ended up being drafted, and they could have went safety, which, again, based off where they were drafted, would have been a luxury pick as well. They decided to go wide receiver. They have old receivers coming off injuries. Chris Godwin missed time last year. Mike Evans missed time last year. Like, I think there's a real world where it's fine. And it's just, it sounds crazy today, but it's better to have the players on your roster than have to try and figure it out once they get hurt. So I think Abu's going to find an opportunity. They'll all kind of eat, but maybe no one's going to be like phenomenal overall when it comes to like total production.
Kills Godwin?
Yeah, it doesn't kill Godwin. No one's killing Chris Godwin. No chance. But Ray,
is Godwin on the trade? Do y'all know they just gave him Godwin on the trading? But what are we?
Do you think though that maybe there's any world where he's like behind schedule or anything like that? Like, do you think there's any indicator there? I don't really think. I mean, it's just an ankle injury. He's probably gonna be fine. Like, it's not too bad. But maybe, you never know. Like, I don't know what his situation is.
I do not believe that Emeka Egbuka is the Chris Godwin killer. I do not believe this move kills Godwin or Mike Evans. I believe this is a move for the now and for the future. You got two older wide receivers. It's who knows where Egbuka was on their board. Could have been BPA, right? We thought they needed defensive back, edge rusher, but stop. Like, stop. Emeka Egbuka is not killing a player that they just gave $50 million to. Like, literally, like a few weeks ago, right? They just gave him a whole bunch of money a couple of weeks ago. He's not the Chris Godwin killer. Denver takes Jahdae Barron at 20, JRich.
No, it was supposed to be O'Brien Hampton, Ray. What happened?
Hampton went soon. Denver's
this team's gonna be fucking good.
Can we talk about how good this could be for Bo Nix? Because this defense is going to be ridiculous. I don't.
Yes.
They were already the best defense or one of the best defenses in the NFL. Now you're talking about the potential for them to give their offense great starting field position, more potential turnovers. You get another. I mean.
I know this doesn't.
It's not a direct.
Hargrave, right?
It's not a direct impact on Bo Nix, right? It's not a receiver. It's not a running back. But if you get another guy that can add 3-4 interceptions, Barron is my Jalen Petrie level of prospect in this class. That Pat Surtain, this is going to be a very good defense. This is going to be a very, very good defense. I'm excited.
Defense that already generated a ton of pressure, led the league in sacks, top 3 in hurries, created chaos for opposing quarterbacks, short fields for Bo Nix, like added Javon Hargrave, added Talise Hufanga to this defense, like, and now they're getting Jahdae Barron, which you could argue they didn't even need, but it's still like, wow, crazy. Their defense is gonna be so good.
Hey,
this year.
Is Denver a sneaky AFC West champ pick? I don't know what the odds are. You got Kansas City, who's won it like 10 straight years.
They'd be probably number 2.
Oh, they're probably
but
second.
Maybe not.
Okay, let's move on. 21. Steelers. There's no chance they pass on Shedeur if he falls, right? Just no chance, right, JRich? Derek Harmon, DT out of Oregon. So they did pass
went with
on
the DT.
Sanders and Jackson Dart at 21. They feel good about Aaron Rodgers. They feel good about Mason. Can't feel good about Mason Rudolph. You just cannot. You cannot feel good about it. So maybe they've got inside information that Aaron Rodgers' interests will turn into significant movement. I know he's interested in playing, but we'll see how that works out. 22, fantasy football fans rejoice. Omarion Hampton goes to the Los Angeles Chargers at 22. Second running back off of the board was not Travion Henderson, was not Quinshon Judkins. It was the guy that has been mocked as the RB2 the entire time. A little bit later than the Dallas Cowboys pick at 12, but the Chargers add Hampton to an offense that already has a Najee Harris, an offense that's got Ladd McConkey led by Justin Herbert. What are your thoughts here on this pick? Hampton to LAC, baby.
It's a good fit, right? We know they want to run the ball. They tried to run the ball with 2 backs last year. It didn't happen. I think it's just managing those expectations, right? Because, I mean, you already see it in the chat. Hampton 102 ahead of the real 102, Travis Hunter, ahead of Ted McMillan, who was the 8th overall pick. Like, that's going to be the question now, is is Omarion Hampton your 102? Because he's a running back in a great system. Yeah, Najee's there this year, but everyone's going to say, oh, well, next year, wheels up for Omarion Hampton, right? Lead back in LA. But you got to take that shot today. You don't get to wait a year and see what happens. You got to take that shot today. So, Ray, how do you feel about Omarion Hampton? Good fit, good offense.
I just told you how I felt. I late before I kicked it. I told you how I felt about it. Good pick, good player. Matthew Golden goes to Green Bay at 23. One of the best reactions of the draft. He was excited. Green Bay fans cheered like crazy. There were no boos. I mean, it was, it's like how it's like when you hear that Uso on WWE and Jey Uso walks out, the crowd erupted for Matthew Golden being selected 23rd overall to Green Bay. He was the third receiver off of the board in this draft, a little later than we thought as well. A lot of Matthew Golden to Dallas. This fit in Green Bay. Christian Watson's knee is torn up. They don't ever throw the ball to Jaden Reed. He just runs screen plays behind the line of scrimmage. That's all they let him do. Romeo Doubs is fine, and Dontavian Wicks is like, he's just folklore, right? He's just what could have been. He'll have a 30 for 30. What if that separation would have translated some targets? They go out, they go add Matthew Golden, very good player. I know last night, Scott and company, they weren't really feeling Golden. What's the most damning part of this was if I told you right now that instead of Matthew Golden, who people, I don't really like the landing spot, if that had been a Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden, how would people feel? Oh, man, wheels up. Egbuka in Green Bay. Egbuka in Green. He's going to be the number one.
Wheels up.
Luther Burden. Oh, he's the number one. Ted McMillan. Oh, he's the number one. Matthew Golden. Nah, I don't really like the offense. They don't really throw that much. I don't really like the offense. If it was Emeka Egbuka, your pants would be rock hard right now. If it were Luther Burden, people would be like, oh, yeah, it's only a matter of time. But because it's Matthew Golden, and this right here is ADV. This is people's preconceived biases and notions coming into the process about a player, going to a spot that you were a little bit on the fence about. It just makes it easier for you to fade. Right? It just makes it easier for you to not like it. It makes it easier for you to be anti-situation, when if I just flip the names, you'd be all in. Matthew Golden to Green Bay does what to you?
You see it right here on the screen. The biggest question, is he a number one wide receiver? Right? Because I think in a lot of ways he does profile as a great two. Like he does profile as a great two in the NFL. But can he be a number one wide receiver? This team already has a bunch of great 2-3 options on the team. But they needed a one. And we all knew that. We all hoped they'd go and get it. They chose Matthew Golden. Do I think he profiled as a one? Maybe. Because there was moments during the season this year where when Quinn Ewers needed to play on third, fourth down, he only threw the ball to Matthew Golden. There wasn't another option on the entire team who was getting the ball. It was Matthew Golden every time. And so, again, that's a small, isolated sample, though. That's not for an entire season. That's not, an extended run where you say, okay, he can be a guy. Because now he's also going to face top coverage, and that's going to be difficult for him as well. So I think it's just, like you said, the funniest thing was JB last night was like, I didn't like Matthew Golden, and he went to a spot that I didn't like anyways. So I'm fine with him going there because it means I don't have to draft him now. And I think a lot of people are going to feel that way. But it's at what point do you think he starts slipping too far where you say, okay, like he's a first-round receiver. This is the guy they went out and got. They pegged him as their new number one.
We'll see tonight.
And they have had some success, right? They've had
we'll
some
see
success
tonight.
with receivers.
I think we'll see tonight. Everything is incomplete until we get more running backs. Everything is incomplete until we get more running backs. And Hunter Hill said if he plays outside, he has wide receiver one potential. If he plays inside, he has low wide receiver one, high wide receiver two grade. Packers fan here. He's an outside guy.
Yeah.
Plays on the outside. So he'll be on the outside.
And I think the truth about the Packers is there has been a sell window for every single Packers receiver who's been drafted in like the last 3 years. Doesn't matter what round.
Love this pick. Love this player. Donovan Jackson to Minnesota. Again, not direct impact for scoring points, but great for J.J. McCarthy. Great for Kevin O'Connell and great for the Minnesota Vikings offensive front. Running game with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason should improve and be better because of Donovan Jackson. He should just be a consistent starter on your front for years to come. Really like this pick by Minnesota. 25, JRich, the spiced again here at 25. The Houston Texans made a really nice move, moving back to the top of the second round in order for the New York Football Giants to jump up and select their quarterback of the future, Ole Miss signal caller, former USC Trojan, Jackson Dart, goes to the New York Giants at pick 25. JRich, the second quarterback off of the board, was not Shedeur Sanders. It was not a top 10 pick, not a top 20 pick, not a top 15 pick. It was 25th overall here to the New York Giants. They have Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart in the first round. I think that is as good as you can hope for.
A little better than we thought, right?
They still have their third round pick 65.
Yep. Yeah, they traded 34,
they didn't give up
99,
a future
and
first.
a 26th third.
Yeah,
Nope.
they didn't give up a
Yeah.
They didn't give up a future
We'll
first.
get there.
They didn't give up a future second. So first and foremost, round of applause for Joe Shane. I thought this was a good move to go get. I think this was a very fair and reasonable price to pay to go get a quarterback. And it is the first quarterback that Brian Daboll has been able to select. He inherited Daniel Jones. So this was the guy that he prioritized. This is the guy that he wanted. And reports and rumors are there was a strong connection between Daboll and Joe Judge, and there was somebody else from Ole Miss that there was connection throughout the season. But now you get a young signal caller paired up in an offense with a young wide receiver and Malik Neighbors with two veteran quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. No, I do not think Jackson Dart starts the season as the Giants quarterback, but he will play. It will be a matter of time before he's inserted as the starter. So if this gives you an opportunity to buy low while he's sitting, for him to fall down the board a little bit, we talked about it last night. I want him in my rookie drafts. Yep. I want Jackson Dart. I don't believe there will be a wide receiver taken tonight on night 2. I'll reserve judgment on a few running back landing spots, but there will not be a wide receiver selected on day 2 that I will take ahead of him. No quarterback, right? I don't care where Shedeur or Milroe land. It's Jackson Dart at 2.
Yep.
No tight end I'm taking ahead of him. And maybe a running back, Travion Henderson, depending on where Hendo lands. You could argue him, Caleb Johnson maybe, Quinshawn maybe. But I feel like Dart's in that 106, 107 territory. And outside of even in tight end premium leagues, I saw this comment from Joe earlier, Warren is going to be fine. Buy him after year 1, wherever you want to do it. I don't think I would take any of the tight ends ahead of Jackson Dart. It would go Genty. I'm just going to say the names from what we think now. Genty, Hampton, McMillan, Hunter in some order, right? In some order, however you want to do it. Cam Ward, 5. Dart,
wide open.
6. Dart, 106, JRich.
Because Ibuka, we're not going to have that in that tier based off the landing spot, right? So yeah, like it's probably Dart, and again, it's not that I'm the biggest Dart fan, but I do like Brian Daboll, and I think that him picking this quarterback says a lot because we talked about this a while ago, whether it was Brian Daboll or Kellen Moore, like the quarterbacks that they've had in the NFL and had success with, they profile more like a Jackson Dart than like a Shedeur Sanders. And then there was a report that it was Joe Schoen and the player personnel people in the Giants front office who preferred Shedeur Sanders, and it was Daboll and the coaching staff that wanted Jackson Dart. They trade up, they get Jackson Dart, and I want the guy that's working directly with the coach, not the guy the GM says, yeah, make it work with this guy. I think he's better, right? So you're betting on the QB guru in Daboll and the guy he wanted and them trading up to go and get him. And I think that's a good bet because he's going to have value. He's going to get an opportunity, and he already has Malik Neighbors, right? Heaven forbid they go out and draft another receiver, then you're looking even better, and there's always opportunities to add as well. So I do think if we believe that Dart can be the guy, having Malik Neighbors already is a great starting point, and they can even continue to improve that situation as a whole.
Yeah, Scribble said, Ray, you worried about the translation to the NFL from that Ole Miss offense? Sure, right? There's always going to be a learning curve from, Caleb Williams had a big learning curve and still learning and he won the Heisman Trophy at USC. So it's a whole different ball game. And I'll just say this about the quarterback situation, whatever you think his comp is, Drew Lock, whatever. I see a lot of people, he's just a courageous Daniel Jones. we sat back. I don't even want to go into it. Like, come on, man. In Superflex fantasy football, I don't care how bad you think the quarterback is, the moment they start, they're going to have value. He can't be, he doesn't have any worse negative perception coming in than Bo Nix had last year. Not even close. I mean, there was visceral disdain for Bo Nix. He shouldn't even be in the while we were pumping up Jackson Dart to be a top 10 pick, Bo Nix shouldn't have been anywhere near the first round. I mean, people were literally saying, if he turns out to be good, I'll quit what I do. I'm not good at it. A lot of people have not.
He's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, people have not backtracked. Nobody's acknowledged those bad Bo Nix takes. As good as JD5 was this past rookie season, there was still a large subset of people too skinny, going to get broken apart at the next level. Our ability to really judge this position is piss poor. It's not very good until we actually see it happening. And then when we see it, we still don't want to believe it. So I'm going to believe that Dayball, his first chance to draft a quarterback in the first round on an offense that has a guy that all you got to do is get it around him. You've got a slot option in Wandell. You've got some talent at tight end with Theo Johnson. I'm just going to take the swing, and I don't have to wait till week 18 for my Jackson Dart shares to yield return. As sure as the sun will rise in the morning, there will be OTAs. There will be training camp videos. There will be more reports, whether they're false or true, pumping up Jackson Dart. I want him.
Oh, yeah.
I think you place him I'd take him as high as 106. I'd take him as high as 106, and I don't have to wait for the outcome, because once people start to see that stuff, I can move him at that point. I can move him at that point. 26th overall, Atlanta double-tapped edge rusher JRich. They get James Pierce Jr. after drafting Jalen Walker. Whoa. Bryce Young, be ready. Derek Carr, get ready.
Baker Mayfield,
get ready. They got two young guys that they can put up and go generate pressure. They did give up a first-round pick for this. They did give up a future first. So you want the deals?
Here's the details.
Give me the details.
They traded up to 26. They did get a 2025 third rounder from the Rams. But the Rams got number 46, a 26 first round pick, which, let's be honest, Ray, the Falcons better be good this year. Or the Rams may be picking in the top 10, not with their own pick. And the Rams did also get a 7th rounder this year on top of it.
I thought it was a good
46.
It's
kind of crazy to trade up first.
They've been last in the NFL in sacks last year, last 5 years, last 10 years. They got to generate pressure, man. And I kind of like this, like, just F it. We're going to just hoard edge rushers.
Oh, yeah.
The edge
But this is what happens to Fontenot all the time. He gets completely fleeced. Like, it's just trading the future first is scary.
Is a little special. Yes, you're making a big bank on that offense and being good, right? But weren't they in contention for an NFC South chip last year? They were right there with the shaky QB stuff.
But do you think they're there right now? Because your boy Baker's still gonna be cooking. He ain't going nowhere. And your boy Bryce Young's on the come up.
My wife's in the building. She said she need all 700 of y'all in here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Shout out to wifey, man. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, wake up with Ray and J. Kevin said this trade was bad. Yeah, giving up that first.
Bad. It can work out, but it seems bad.
Here, Jason, there we go. Jason's giving us some objectivity. He said if Pierce hits the ceiling,
Ray, I think for both of us, Jalen Walker was kind of a steal where they got.
So it's almost like if you just flip the.
If you kind of make the whole thing come together, where they still got Jalen Walker at 15, which is a bit of a value play, and then
this is a great question. This is a great question. W. Kobe 7. He said, so if you're taking Dart at 106, if the Browns go Shador and Milrow, are you taking them at 107, 108? Is Dart more about the landing spot? We'll talk about that when we get to round 2, because I do think I'm going to be real. I think
Shador not in the first, Ray.
Shador not in the first almost is just,
basically puts him off my board.
I want him to be good in the NFL. I've maintained the whole time I would take Baker Mayfield over any of these quarterbacks, including Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. Give me Baker Mayfield. But the fact that he wasn't picked in round 1, he's going to start at some point. Somebody's going to take him to round 2. He's going to start and play. But I'm just hoping that he can elevate the other players around the offense more so than him turning into a top 12 option. He's got to throw
There's
for
no
a lot of
difference
fucking
between him and Will
touchdowns, man.
Levis, right?
Yeah,
He is now in Will Levis land, which
and for fantasy, I
place
don't
to
think
be
a lot of people were excited about him for fantasy anyway. But if you were,
yeah,
this just even Cleveland, even if they go Cleveland at 33, you're gonna take him. You're gonna take him,
first rounder,
but he's not. I don't think I would take him in round 1 of a rookie draft. Baltimore gets the steal of the draft. I love this pick. Malachi Starks. We've been talking about this the whole time. They just get good players. They just fall to Baltimore. Wow.
Slam dunk. Him and Kyle Hamilton, slam dunk.
Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, look out. Because this secondary is going to be even better next year. And we know the pass rush and linebacking core is already good. So their biggest issue was that safety spot, and they addressed it in a massive, massive way.
Talik Williams, another shocker, goes to Detroit, D tackle. I had him mocked to the Buffalo Bills early in the process as a first rounder. Then everything with the pro day and the combine. And I saw him in round 3 in somebody's mock not long ago. But round 3. Here he is going 28th overall to Detroit. So not an edge rusher, but interior D-line help. When Aiden Hutchinson is back, he's going to help out that defense and just feels like a Dan Campbell kind of guy, right? Washington Commanders, no running back, no wide receiver, no cornerback. They do the sensible thing, and they fortify the trenches. They traded for Laramie Tunsil from the Houston Texans, and they turn around, and with the 29th overall pick, knowing that they need edge, they get Josh Connerly, tackle out of Oregon, which protect your franchise quarterback. I love it. I love the pick. I had Josh Connerly going to Kansas City. They still took a tackle and got a damn good one. But Washington protects Jaden Daniels. The Buffalo Bills get Maxwell Harrison. We know that they need a defensive back help. They get one of the fastest in the draft. Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky goes to Buffalo. Philly, they hit up Kansas City. Hey, man, we beat y'all last in the Super Bowl. We need to jump y'all in the NFL draft. What's it going to take? I think it was like a 5th-round pick that they gave the Kansas City Chiefs. 5th rounder. And they freaking get Jahad Campbell, man. I'm hitting the sounder. It's not because it's a bad pick. It's because you got to deal with this defense. Philly. Like, this is
easy. Too easy.
Great pick. They lost Nakobe. They lost Nakobe Dean in the playoffs with the injury, and they go back to the SEC well. They've got a thing for SEC defenders, don't they? They got a thing.
I mean,
SEC
but Ray,
defenders.
It's not just SEC. It's literally Nick Saban and the Georgia defenders by Kirby Smart. Like it's two sets of guys. It's Alabama defenders, Georgia defenders. Arguably every year some of the best defenders in the SEC. Jahad Campbell, number 1 linebacker, slam dunk pick, injured or not. Philly doesn't need him until the playoffs anyways. They're chilling. They'll be fine.
And Jahad Campbell said it best. He said, the richer get rich. That's what he said last night. Not the rich get richer. The richer get rich. That's what he said last night. Philly goes Jahad Campbell. And the Kansas City Chiefs take Josh Simmons, tackle out of the Ohio State, at 32. Another great pick. I didn't think Simmons would fall here. You had some mock draft experts thinking that Simmons could go in the teens, could go in the 20s. Hell, might even go to the 49ers at 11. And here the Kansas City Chiefs are able to move back, get a 5th-round pick, and still land a tackle to help protect Patrick Mahomes, because we know that offensive front was problematic for Kansas City in 2024. JRich, some notable names not selected in round 1 last night. No doubt the quarterback. You got to start there. Shedeur Sanders. And when he tweeted out last night, and I quote tweeted it, he said it was a few hours before the draft. He tweets out, we're prepared for whatever may happen tonight. I quote tweeted him, said, I love you, Shedeur. This sounds like it's Pittsburgh or see you on Friday night. And it was absolutely see you on Friday night. But notable players outside of Sanders, Mike Green, edge rusher out of Marshall. JRich was not selected. Yeah. Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan, not selected. Nick Ebenwari, not picked in round 1. I don't really want to say Luther Burden because he didn't seem to be on.
Right? He's another big
Donovan
one.
Ezeraku, not selected. Yep. Very interesting that Ezeraku was not picked. So we're going to have an electric day 2, and we still have a litany and bevy of running backs that we have to discuss, some quarterbacks that we need to talk about, and we are going to do that while we look at Matt Miller's mock, second-round mock. We're going to do it after the break, so if you're new here, go to a little break, run up the like, subscribe to the channel. We'll be right back, and let's go. Welcome in, everybody, for another stream over here on Bleacher Report, NFL Daily. You can find JRich and I every single week here on this app.
The moment I say it, they'll say, oh, yuck. And it's got to be Najee Harris, right? It's
That world is in an alternate timeline somewhere in the multiverse. It ain't here on Earth 616 or whatever. It ain't here. JRich and I are on every single Thursday, 7 p.m. Appreciate y'all. This is Wake Up with Ray. Oh, this mock is terrible. No more mocks. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay. Appreciate y'all every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Honestly, I want to give a big shout out to the chat. Garrison and Luke and Kevin and Alan and Marlon, Graphic 13, MV Prof, Jameson Wooten, Mark, Fredo, Joe, Tater Wolf, the whole Mog, Slim Reaper. Like this. First of all, to wake up every single y'all are insane, but y'all are here. You're engaged in the chat. Y'all keep receipts. This is it's fun. And JRich and I thank you for that. We don't try to push stuff down y'all's throat and sell you this and do that. Just support the growth, support the movement. And when you get 20,000 people to pull up to a little old DD fantasy football stream, a little Ray Garvin NFL stream that just shows the power of this community and how you can make this shit actionable and entertaining. It doesn't have to just be numbers and boring. Like, you can have fun, engage, and everybody's got a voice, and we try to highlight as many voices as we can on a daily basis. So just want to say thank you, and make sure you join us tonight. Round 2, we're going to do it again. Round 2 and round 3, we're going to do it again tonight, 5:45 Central Standard Time. I'm in Texas, Central Standard Time tonight. So 6:45 Eastern. The crew will be back. Scott, Shane, John, Dan, Brandon to be here, JRich will all be on going through rounds 2 and 3. Also, Ron Stewart is going to come on, man. I told Ron he needs to come on Friday. DP might jump on. I know he'll be with BR. D-Bro's doing his thing, so we can't get D-Bro on, but we'll see who else we can pull on tonight. Maybe Todd Eclair's got some time. We'll get the trade man, Todd Eclair, on the show tonight. But, Jay, let's go round 2 mock. Matt Miller dropped a second-round mock, and it's really just going to include a lot of names that weren't discussed. We're not going to hold him to the mock, but it just shows the talent of players still available and how exciting this could be tonight. And we'll go through some of these landing spots, what we would like to see. Cleveland at the top of the draft takes Shador, 33 overall. Sanders goes to the Browns. Ariante Ersary, the offensive tackle from Minnesota, goes to Houston, giving C.J. Stroud some protection. You've got Tennessee taking Luther Burden at pick 35. Cleveland double taps offense with Jaden Higgins at 36, JRich. So right at the top, Shador, Burden, and Higgins. Talk about those players, fits, picks. Sanders goes to the top. I'll just say this. I don't know, man. I don't know.
The best pick of these 4 might be Irsay here for Houston because they desperately need a tackle.
Well,
but yeah.
Are we sure? Is it not Milroy? Now, Andrew Barry and them did take him out for dinner. I think he went out to dinner with the Browns front office. At this point, I don't know. He was supposed to be at 9. He wasn't going to go past 21. The Giants jumped back up. They didn't take him. I don't know, JRich.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the lack of confidence to some extent, or maybe the Browns just knew he was going to be there, right? But it's like we argued when the Giants traded up, who is it for? Who are they trading up for? And I was like, it's not going to be Shador. And the problem for Shador is then there's no incentive for any team to really go after him and go up and get him, right? To where you feel confident, like, okay, they gave up some capital to go and get Shador Sanders because they want him to be the guy. He just fell in Cleveland's lap, and they're like, well, we traded down. We got some extra picks. We might as well take him and see what he's got. Then you take Jaden Higgins, right? Add to that wide receiver room. How does he complement Jerry Jeudy and the other players they have there, David Njoku? It's a decent offense, but it's hard to, go from Travis Hunter, Jalen Milroe, to Mason Graham, Shador Sanders.
That's what I
was.
Is the draft capital that they were able to accrue, is that worth more than what they could have had, which is Travis Hunter and what feels like Shador Sanders?
Carter, right? That's the other side of it. That is like, okay, yeah, Travis Hunter's probably should have been the pick, and I totally agree there. But if you're going to take a defensive lineman, why wouldn't you just pair Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter?
Because they had
Right?
to recoup some of that Watson shit. They had to.
Yeah.
I feel like this was a bigger play. And you know what Mason Graham is? He's not going to get you fired. Mason Graham isn't going to get Andrew Berry canned. He's not. That first round pick, oh man, savvy move. You just got a solid football player next to Myles Garrett. He can go out there and give you 6 sacks and it was worth it, right? Got a future pick. You got a 4th rounder.
But
I'm kind of like Mox.
We didn't say that about Abdul Carter, right? We didn't say Abdul Carter's going to save Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll's job because he's a good player. So you're kind of saying this. You're kind of saying the opposite here with Graham. It's like, well, yeah, he's not going to get you fired because he's probably going to be good. But if Travis Hunter's really good and you don't hit on some of these draft picks,
okay. Let me ask you this. Here goes the would you rather. Let's do the would you rather here. And it's all hypothetical. It's not going to happen because the thing has already happened. But JRich, would you rather, as a Cleveland Browns fan, your choice of Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, or what the Browns got in Mason Graham, Shedeur Sanders, and Jaden Higgins, along with the first round pick in 26? Because that's what they did here. They got Graham, they got Sanders, Jaden Higgins, and a first, or Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter and Shedeur Sanders. So you get 4 for 2. What if this were fantasy football? What package would you rather have? Graham, Sanders, Higgins, and a future first, or Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Shedeur Sanders?
Man, it just has to be Travis Hunter. It just has to be. Like, I understand why they did it, but this is a team that, again, they haven't had first rounders in forever, so I understand it from that perspective. They want to add more first round talent because they haven't had it for 3 seasons. But it just has to be Travis Hunter. It just has to be Travis Hunter. Like, there's a reason why Jacksonville spent all that draft capital to go and get him. And Cleveland was like, yeah, we think you're giving us enough value. We'll go get Mason Graham. He fits the scheme. He'll be great to help our defense. We'll get Jaden Higgins, big body wide receiver, to help out our quarterback. And we'll still get the guy we want in Shedeur Sanders. But
Lewis said the Titans need to take.
Makes them okay. Then
Lewis said the Titans should take Shedeur so him and Cam Ward can battle it out for the QB1 spot. That ain't gonna happen. But let's move down the board.
I'll take Travis Hunter.
You'll take Hunter. I think I'm fine with the package, but we'll see. Burden, Higgins, Will Johnson goes to the Raiders. So wow, the Raiders land Ashton Genty and
great pick.
Will Johnson. Nice. Your New England Patriots get Mike Green here at 38. I'm sure you're happy about that.
Disgusting. Yeah, very good pick.
The Chicago Bears go Big Hendo, Travion Henderson. So we're back there. Travion Henderson and Saints fans, you ready? Kelvin Banks to protect your quarterback of the future, Tyler Shuck at 40. Would you have rather the Saints just taken Sanders or Ward at 9? And whatever tackle they could get here.
But Ray, the
was Kelvin Banks worth missing out on Dart, Sanders, Milrow?
If this happens, no. Like, if this happens, absolutely
this would
not.
Be a
just take
bag.
Dart at 9. But they apparently love Tyler Shuck for whatever reason.
Yuck.
They apparently love him. Yeah, we may have to call him Tyler Yuck once you see him play. And the sad thing is at 40 overall, he's probably going to get a shot to play. Like, he's going to get a shot to play. But it feels like a wasted pick. Oof. 41, though. Wow, Bears, let's go.
41, Donovan Ezeraku. Man. Good job, Bears. Ezeraku. Jets get Nick Ebenwari at 42. You ready for this one, JRich? Are you ready for this one? You ready for the future in San Francisco?
The future? Oh, wow.
The Niners take Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU.
Mason
Dallas takes Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State. They're not drafting a running back here. So
you're not buying it, huh?
Get this out of your mind right now. They're not doing it. I don't think it's happening. I would be more than happy to be wrong about a Dallas pick, but A, Dallas historically only drafts players that were debilitating, had some debilitating injury the year before. So this feels like Siobhan Revel. They need a cornerback. You need a hurt player in Dallas at 44. Maybe Carson Schlesinger. It's not going to be Quinshon Judkins. It's not going to be Caleb Johnson. They're not drafting a running back at 2. I guarantee you they think their running back room is good enough with a healthy Dak. There are too many other needs to address. I don't think they're taking Judkins. But Mason Taylor at 43 would be very interesting. Trey Amos goes 45 to Indianapolis to help out their secondary. And then here we go with that pick from the Falcons. The Rams select Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama. So we've got a debate. Within the first 10 picks of the second round, we had Shedeur go 33, Shuck go 40, Milroe go 46. How do they rank out behind Dart and behind Cam Ward? Or would you take any of them ahead of Jackson Dart in New York?
No, I would not take any of them ahead of Jackson Dart. But so, right, here's where I struggle, because immediate reaction is there's no way in hell I'm taking Shedeur Sanders over Jalen Milroe. Like, I don't care if Matt Stafford's there. Like,
what about Ike saying about that smear campaign?
Well, he can say whatever he wants about the smear campaign, but do you think it's worth it to take the gamble on Milroe and Sanders at this, let's just say, the same price, but you're taking Milroe because he's with McVay and in that Rams offense, hoping one day he gets a shot to start? It's probably not going to be this year, maybe not even next year. We'll see what happens.
He'll get a chance to play this year. Stafford will go down for a week or two. He'll get a chance to play. So
maybe he can play like the last week of the season or something. But would you take the gamble on Jalen Milroe starting eventually versus Shedeur Sanders, who probably has a closer path to at least starting in the NFL, even at 33 overall? Because Joe Flacco's going to play, but maybe at some point this season they just pivot to Shedeur Sanders, and that way you have him playing as a starting quarterback at probably earlier than Jalen Milroe.
I think Milroe would be QB3 behind Jimmy Garoppolo. Shedeur would be QB3 behind Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco. They'll all be QB3s, but he would play. You draft him inside the top 50, he'd play at some point. I don't know.
Not feeling that Milroe.
I kind of like the spot, but...
Oh, the spot's great for any quarterback.
Yeah.
Especially one that you don't even want to necessarily play. Like, you want him to learn and grow and become a better quarterback.
Gene said you hate Shedeur.
No, it's just funny that I was right about Shedeur, that he's not going to go very high. And I even said that he's not going to go to Pittsburgh.
Didn't you have money on him going third to the Giants?
I did put money on him going third, yeah.
What are you talking about then?
I can feel one way and bet another way based off the odds. That's totally acceptable.
Arizona at 47. Ben Morrison. They go cornerback out of Notre Dame. Xavier Watts, your boy. Man, these are some nice DB picks right here. This cluster. Ben Morrison to Arizona. Xavier Watts to Miami. Ezariah Thomas to Cincinnati.
Bengals get sniped again.
Right. Man, they almost had Xavier Watts. Damn. But so I like this.
To Xavier Watts. Yeah.
I don't know about snipe. Ezariah Thomas is a dog. So they need corner help. This is really good. Trey Harris goes to Seattle at 50, so replacing DK Metcalf. Denver's on the clock at 51. Denver needs that running back. They don't do it. Darius Alexander, DT out of Toledo. Seattle's back on the clock at 52. We need interior line. They went Gray Zabel. They went Trey Harris. They go right back to the interior with Jared Wilson, center out of Georgia. JRich. Tampa Bay on the clock at 53. They do address defense with Carson Schlesinger, linebacker out of UCLA. Green Bay goes Jordan Birch, DN out of Oregon. Oh, man. Chargers take my guy. Wide receiver 4 in my pre-draft process. He's a top 60 pick, so Scott Connor could get off of that one. Right? He's fit the threshold. Lands with a great quarterback. But Jalen Knoll in Los Angeles.
It's a good fit. It's a good fit.
Oh, man.
Yeah, pretty wide open in LA, right?
Lots
of targets available.
I like it.
Yeah, he's not going to be Loud McConkey. He can stretch the field for that defense. He can actually catch the ball, which is great. It's a good fit.
I like it. It's
a good fit. Him and McConkey would be a problem.
Jalen
bunch
Royals
sets.
goes to Buffalo.
Does that make any sense, though? Like, is he going to play outside? No, probably not.
I don't get this one.
And
And
you
he
got,
says
like,
wide
4
receiver isn't a
slots
huge
already there.
need. Isn't a huge need. He's been connected to Buffalo since the East-West Shrine Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm no.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Carolina.
Femi Oladejo, the edge rusher out of UCLA, goes to Carolina. We know they need edge. They went receiver in round 1. Jonas Savaiinaea. Houston is
It's working out so far.
quietly. Remember how bad you talked about that offensive line? They're quietly
Yeah.
rebuilding it, JRich. Slowly but surely throughout this draft, based on these Look at Baltimore. Baltimore said, the hell with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Burrow. You will not beat us with passing. They go Siobhan Revel. DB.
Oh, gamble.
Malachi Starks, and then they go Siobhan Revel Jr., cornerback out of East Carolina, going to Baltimore. JTT DN out of Ohio State goes to the Lions in the second round. Nick Scorton goes to the Washington Commanders. And JRich, are you
Great
ready
pick.
for this one?
Buffalo
ready
Bills
for
are
this
on the
one?
clock.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, you've seen it. The people haven't seen it. Buffalo goes Caleb
Caleb
Johnson. Kansas City goes Dylan Sampson at 62 and 63, back-to-back running backs. Whoa. Jordan Richards. And just for shits and giggles, let's just get the last offensive playmaker out of the way. Philly goes Elijah Arroyo.
Pretty crazy. I mean, I like Caleb Johnson in Buffalo. I really do.
Do you? With James Cook
I
there?
do, yeah. That's fine. I think the question to you then is, do you think that Caleb Johnson is in a worse off position because of James Cook or Dylan Sampson with Pacheco? Because I think you could easily make the case that Sampson probably has a clearer path to being the starting running back in KC. I'm not the biggest fan of Dylan Sampson, so it's kind of like, am I going to take the running back I like a little bit more that I think can carve out a role in the offense, am I going to take the guy that I don't like in maybe the more open situation?
Do you think James Cook is overplaying his hand a little bit? Did you see Dalvin Cook quote tweet? So there was a report that James Cook did not show up.
That.
He didn't show up to the voluntary workouts, and then Dalvin Cook quote tweeted and said $20 million. He's not getting $20 million, is he? Not James Cook.
Look, man, maybe someone will pay him $20 million. I don't know, but probably not. Probably not. And then at that point, do they just say, F it, take Caleb Johnson, and if James Cook shows up, he shows up. If he doesn't, then
this would be like his power style with Josh Allen would be a problem.
But Ray, think about what happened in the playoffs. Why did they lose games?
Well, they didn't have any corners.
James Cook can't. That too, but James Cook can't close out a game. He's not big enough to push the pile. Josh Allen had to do that, and Josh Allen even struggled to do that late in games at times last season. So now you're getting a guy who's 6'1", 225 pounds that can run downhill, that can break tackles at the line of scrimmage, that can get you those short yardage plays. That's kind of what they need. Right? That is kind of what they need to combat having to use Josh Allen in those situations so often and it not working out.
Dylan Sampson and KC
could be big. He's a big play guy, and he could be a big time threat in KC.
Yeah. So in round 2, we had Sampson going to the Chiefs. We have Caleb Johnson going to the Bills. We had Quinshawn going to Dallas. Henderson going to Chicago. We've got Hampton in Los Angeles, and we've got Genty in Las Vegas. Those are 6 running backs in 6 spots.
6 for 6, basically.
6 for 6.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
No real bad spots.
Pretty damn good. Let's go round 3. Want to go round 3?
Is there round 3 too?
Yeah. We'll speed it up.
Oh, damn.
Round 3. All right. Top prospects available, or is it just 2 rounds? Is this the second round? Top prospects available?
I think it's just round 2 and some fits.
Okay. All right. Well, Jack Bash.
Yeah, it's just...
All right, so it's just that. All right. Well, that's round 2. That's round 2, and that's happening tonight. So, notable players not selected in Miller's round 2. Who did not go? Scatterboo didn't go. We didn't see
If you
Scadaboo
thought
go.
Scadaboo was going there, right?
I'm
Yeah.
naming names, right? Scadaboo didn't go. Any receivers that I'm thinking of that were omitted from round 2? Or no other
Not
quarter at
really.
this point? No
Royal
other
receiving was one was
quarterbacks.
kind of surprised.
You had Mason Taylor and Arroyo here in round 2. No Harold Fannin. He didn't go in round 2 of this mock. I think night 2 is going to be electric, man. I'm excited for night 2. I think it's going to be very, very fun and a lot of good landing spots that we want to see. And there's still some dope players. Besh would still be available. You got Jack Sawyer, Tate Ratledge, Alfred Collins, amongst a bevy of running backs and some other playmakers as well that can be drafted.
A lot of RBs that could be drafted 3rd round, right? Like that's what we'd be looking for is probably another 3 to 4 based off the ones we got in round 2, at least.
Yeah, at least, man. At least that the way to it.
Giddens,
Giddens. You've got Judkins went. Patty Pacheco, Judkins. He went to Dallas in the mock 44. He went to Dallas.
Yeah, he went 44.
He went
Burden
to Dallas.
went 33 or it was 34 to Tennessee, right?
Yeah, Cook said he wants $20 million. Okay. All right, Jay, anything else? Did any other news break while we were on the show? Any trades, any insider? I'm going to X real quick, giving it a quick scan to see what we got. Anything new?
I haven't seen anything yet, no. Okay. It's been pretty quiet. I guess the NFL had a late night last night, and they're still waking up in Green Bay. So it's a little bit slow.
Overall
to start,
takeaways.
Yeah,
Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Draft last night. Just overall takeaways, overall thoughts from night 1. We'll save round 2. It's going to be fun tonight. But just your takeaways, how you feeling, fantasy-wise, NFL-wise, what are your thoughts last night? And what did the NFL tell you last night? From everything that we discussed throughout the pre-draft process, all the rumors and the smoke and the reports that you had been hearing, what did the NFL tell you last night?
I think the NFL told me that it's still an offensive league. In a draft where we weren't really looking at it from the top wide receivers, top running backs, the quarterbacks were going to slide, right? Like even McMillan going at 8, we didn't necessarily expect that. We thought there could be a slide there. And, we had 3 guards go in the 1st round, which was surprising. The tackles went very, very high and were drafted high. Like, I think in just a lot of ways, we expected to see a lot of defense, edge rushers, D tackles. The corners I thought would go much higher than they did. The safeties I thought they'd go higher than they did. So I think it's just, once again, the NFL reminding us that there's a premium on offensive players in the NFL, regardless of position, over defensive players. And that stretched to the line, to the outside, didn't matter what you were looking at. And it really was some of our favorite edge rushers, defenders, DTs that slipped down to the 2nd round. Still great values. And this is where a lot of people said this draft between 20 and 40 is a bunch of just really good players. But I think the NFL told us that maybe it's a little bit leaning on the high end offensively because there's so much talented defensive players still to come. But in the case of the running backs, of course, we're going to see a lot of running backs go because there's still a lot of guys available. But only 2 on day 1. Not a surprise, but I think people were hoping for more.
Yeah, it's the draft is always an inexact science. It's just when you think and insider this, insider that, chaos creates chaos. And that's what happens when a player falls down a board and a team takes somebody that they didn't think would be there, or they don't give a damn about consensus and they have their own board, right? They have their own mock, and it's a fun process, but you look at the huddle report and the mock draft challenges, you see that the best out there, they're getting 11 right, 12 right to player team fits. It's tough, but the process is fun, and we enjoy talking ball, talking the what ifs. I think that's the best part about it. Not knowing once it's done, but kind of speculating if this happens, if that happens, and watching it play out. And we're going to do it all again tonight. So make sure you pull up 5:45 Central Time, 6:45 Eastern Standard Time, round 2 and 3, right here on the channel. We're going to have a draft party. We're going to have some fun. JRich, anything you want to say before we get out of here? Hit the music, man. Hit the music.
No, thank you, everybody.
I got to get a workout in, man.
I got to
get a workout in, JRich.
You do. Got to sweat out everything from last night, right? But thank you, everyone, for tapping in. Like and subscribe. Follow the show. because we are going to do, I think, another post show after the draft tonight. So lots going down on the channel and on DDFFB, and make sure you subscribe over there. Still trying to get to 5K. And I think with the help of the people today, we can finally get there. But very excited for day 2. Going to be a great stream, great show, full breakdown, full analysis. And I think maybe even Ray will cook up a mock draft later in the night.
I went and saw Sinners. Have you seen Sinners, the movie?
I have not seen Sinners yet, no.
Good movie, man.
Good movie.
Good movie. All right. We'll see y'all later on today. I think Dynasty Theory is going live at 12, right?
So we have Mannequin Chill is at noon.
Mannequin Chill.
Dynasty Theory is at 3, both on DDFFB, and then we'll be going live back on this channel at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for day 2 of the NFL Draft.
See y'all then. Appreciate y'all. Love you. Let's go.